Naruto 641 viewer comments. Chaz Malakian gets us started off. Number one most voted up comment. Nice chapter action, nothing so much to talk about. Except whatever Madara is planning on doing requires some time. I have a feeling that he's waiting for Toby to use a specific power so that Madara can counter it and turn the tables on this war. I like the idea of a counter because we don't really know what it is yet, so that's at least that's a good. I'm glad you're taking a stab at it, but it seemed like he had to get to something before Toby could figure it out, as opposed to waiting for him. Of course, he could be have to get to something before Toby uses the ability. So anyway, yeah, I appreciate you taking a stab at it because most people haven't. Trying to figure out what the trump card is. You continue on. Madara was using Perfect Sun against Hashirama, so it basically isn't the trump card. Minato is always amazing, especially working with the second. That was awesome, by the way. Good video, and keep up the good work. Appreciate it. Awesome comment. Voted up number one again. Good job. Michael Gethman is the number 2 most voted up comment. And I wish one more page of Madara doing something this week would have happened. As much as I love seeing a fight against the Jubito, I wish I could have seen Madara's trump card. Madara's trump card has to be the game changer if he thinks he can still get a hold of the Jubi's power at this point. Sakura lovers got a big slap in the face this week when Kishi pointed out that she's not a big of a character. I loved how much of the tactical fight the second is. I can't wait for viewer comments. Yeah, and there's a little bit more I want to speak on that. I want to go ahead and, okay, number one, I want to get to a comment that just bowled me over when I read it. For humor, I loved it. It was absolutely awesome. Sage Blue 92. We should be grateful that Jiraiya named Naruto. Right, he was named after Naruto for one of Jiraiya's books. And so so that was freaking awesome. If Minato had his way, Naruto would have 7 middle names. Oh, that was brilliant. I loved it. Sage 92, awesome. Keeping the humor going, man. I appreciate that. All right, now we got a question. Uchiha GXD. Here's a simple question. If you could be any Naruto character you want, who will it be and why? Well, I was just looking at the abilities. I'm like, as far as personality, this and that. But just as far as personality, or excuse me, ability, I would say the second Hokage, minus his hate and his rage. But I mean, just forget the personality, just his abilities. I love the whole time space thing is freaking phenomenal. And there's a lot more abilities it seems that he has. So that's pretty amazing. I'd like to have his abilities. I may or may not be answering your question, but that's why. Now, some people responding to you are Lumpy Rocks goes, Utaka Ta. He was one of the Jinchuriki, one with the bubbles, the flyer on the bubble. Kimamaro. That's a character that I wanted to see a lot more. The whole thing about his clan, they had these special abilities, and that would have been like a side issue, like a mini 6-chapter thing or something, just to get understand more about his character. That'd be really. But I would not want to be a character that had to pull. I don't care how badass he was, badass, no doubt. But when you have to pull your own bones out of your body to, okay, yeah, you can defeat somebody with that, but geez, that's a bit much for me. Okay, it's a bit much for me, but awesome character though. Good choices. DT Ninja 831. I would say Itachi or Shishu. These are very talented and honorable shinobi. I could get people to do whatever I wanted just by looking them in the eye. I think it was just every 10 years, but maybe that was just the big ability. Maybe he had minor, less abilities he used, kind of like that. But anyway. LOL reminds me of Code Geass and powers that control others. It would be an amazing ability. Awesome. Appreciate it. DT Ninja 831. And, here we go. Lumpy Rocks. It's funny to imagine all this badass action going on. And then Kakashi is just chilling in the pocket dimension, bleeding out. Don't forget that The Kages are on the way with Ochomaru and his goons, otherwise known as Team Snake. Can't wait to see what goes down when Tsunade gets to meet Hiruzen because she missed his death. Naruto and Sasuke performed that amazing jutsu, the second and the fourth genius plan. I loved it. The chapter also had the nice Narahina promotion too, and then NW Order for Life kind of pushes back and is like, because Hinata got a panel. Yeah, I didn't see this as in Narahina, Narasaka, anything this week. So, yeah, didn't see that. Anyway, appreciate your comments. All right, let's see. And let's see. Janisorf. That was epic. Tobirama won me over in this chapter. He was pretty badass. The only downside was seeing Sakura. LOL. In all seriousness, it was a brilliant chapter. A lot of people have bashed Naruto this year, but I think most characters have been amazing. This chapter was the Kages returning. The chapter was Sasuke declaring he will become Hokage. I think my favorite chapter so far this year is Kakashi versus Obito chapter. I think it was called The Current Obito. It was just so emotional. And then, of course, Obito responds. Figures you'd like the chapter when I get hit with a plot no jutsu. Awesome stuff. See, we like to have fun here. This is what it's about. Have some fun and talk about the series. Mr. RJ23. I love this Naruto chapter. It took me back to part 1 when there was so much more. They were more strategic in a single move. Lately, Naruto has lost some of that, but it would be great to see it coming back. I would probably go with more with the word tactical, but I get what you're saying. When you're actually looking and you're impressed at the thought and then the skill level to pull off the things you're doing, it's pretty awesome. And this week, you know what's interesting? Another thing that was interesting about this week is it was a short chapter. It was just, what was it, 13 pages or whatever? And it was so action-packed. Right, I mean, people wanted, like I said, maybe a page more of this or that, but there wasn't a lot of complaint about it because there was so much action in it. So I'm an action junkie. So for me, it was like you say, being able to watch. I mean, that is amazing, isn't it? In anime, I mean, in comics, I don't open up a huge discussion on this, but in comics, which I enjoyed growing up and all that, but. And I guess I still do watching the movies. It's funny to watch movies that, of comics that I read when I was a kid. But anyway, I mean, in this stuff, I mean, some of this anime, especially Naruto, sometimes you're really watching the moves and really getting into the panels and wanting something, a better image because you're really, I mean, it's really a lot of thinking. I really do appreciate that you pointed that out. And then, let's see. Mr. Marcus, the second FTG is different than Minato. The fourth uses a kunai and the second doesn't. And it's also been stated by Minato that a while ago that the second's FTG was way more advanced than his. But the real question should be, where did Minato learn it from when he was not alive there's no connection. During the second time period, pay attention to this. They showed you an episode when Kushina was younger and Minato saved her. He was using the FTG jutsu. Then, so I don't really get where he learned this jutsu from. Okay, and it says you're going to continue on somewhere else. But a response to you is Minato stated that Obito's jutsu was far better than his, and that Tobirama stated Minato's Hiroshin was faster than his. And I'll read more Mr. Marcus a little more later. Actually, I'll be reading it now, and then their responses to you. Mr. Marcus continues on. Or there is a deep storyline behind Minato and the connection between the second and him. I'm sorry, Steve, that I'm ranting. You're making good points. I mean, as long as someone makes good points, go 5, 10 along. I mean, just keep going. As long as you're making sense, people are going to keep reading it. If you find that you're losing your way or you're not making sense anymore, what have you, then stop. Then that's a good place to stop right there. But you're doing awesome. Hell, you can definitely keep going. Don't stop if you got a good thing. Rant or no. And this, I love reading it. Keep going. Okay. And that ranting about this one thing, but it's strange to me how this guy who was not surrounding anyone who knew this jutsu, and since he was young, he knew this jutsu very well. The second wasn't around. Remember, this was something to me that is weird. Anyway, great review, Steve. This particular thing is bothering me right now. And then look at people start responding, because it's an awesome comments that you're making. So Bito's like, any money says the fourth is the second's illegitimate grandson. See, there you go. This Minato and Naruto have a direct connection to the Senju bloodline, which is yet another series of things that we're intrigued about. You know, where's Minato actually? How does he fit into this whole thing? And then another response to your Mr. Marcus's comment: where's Waldo Prod? I have a feeling that Minato may have learned it in a similar way Naruto learned Kage Bushin. He may have stumbled on it through some studies in school, or even Jiraiya noticed his quick reaction time and introduced it to him through a scroll without being able to perform it himself, thinking it may be a technique he could master. And I want to really stick on to that point, because my own belief is it was probably Hiruzen, and then you're going, well, why didn't he ever use it? He may not have mastered it, right? Kind of going to where's Waldo is saying, is it may be he may have had enough of an understanding of it to give Minato a beginning point, right? It's sort of like how the same thing with Naruto, that he was given from his, that Jiraiya did for him. He gave him a starting point and explained to him the beginnings, and then said, now you got to figure it out. That's a possibility, okay? Even though Hiruzen was, you could say, well, he was pretty young when the second went and died protecting them. But at that point, he was appointed freaking Hokage, so I think that he was a genius, so he may have, like I say, just the basic grasp, or he could be scroll or what have you. So there are some good explanations. And once again, Mr. Marcus, you got good comments. Keep them coming. Don't, you're not going over. Filling in 2 panels on this is not going over. Like I said, go 5. To me, 5 is nothing. If you keep going, 5 is nothing. No, 5 panels and comments is nothing if you have something to say. And 10, if you have something to say, is fine. If you're going past 10, then even if you have something to say, that's we're starting to get into that's kind of a bit much just for everybody else. All right. Well, anyway, awesome comments and responses. This is we're talking about Naruto. We're having fun, and this is exactly what I wanted. Okay, Uchiha GXD, a very underrated character like Izuna should be revived. I would just love to see Madara's face when he sees his baby brother. His reaction would be priceless. 2 things. Izuna is somebody people want to see, and Jiraiya. And I'm sure that Jiraiya would win, but number 2 would be Izuna. I feel pretty confident in that. And it's funny, how many people in the beginning of the war, when they started having interactions with people, which I liked, but and some of it was a little overly corny, but a lot of people were complaining about it because they wanted to get to the fighting. And then now that we had all this fighting, more and more people are like, well, I'd kind of like to hear them talk to the people. It's funny how this changes, right? You can't wait to the fighting, and then once people get the fighting, now they want that. So that's a lesson in and of itself. Okay, let's see. Okay, and Armin Gregorian. Okay, and something no one actually paid attention to. Sasuke actually was going to save Naruto with his Susanoo, and then NW Order for Life comes right back. They're fighting common enemy. He needs Naruto alive. I mean, it is kind of hard to get that combo if the other guy's dead, right? So, good point. Very good points. Really good points. And let's see. I love your name here. I mean, I like the idea that burritos can be sneaky, okay? But no less than 5,000 sneaky burrito. I just love your name that you picked out. I love it. I think it's awesome. Anyway, No less than 5,000 Sneaky Burrito starts off. I know this sounds extremely corny. Before, I've already read your comment before, and I have to agree with you. I actually agree with you on the points where you're kind of doubting it a little bit. But it's fun, so here we go. All right, starting at the beginning, 5,000 Sneaky Burritos. I know this sounds extremely corny, and I don't even believe it myself to this point, but I just had a thought about the concept of Naruto and Sasuke fusing together to create something on par or perhaps even beyond the Sage of the Sixth Path. Since it's obvious they both represent the two halves and the two sides of the Sage, and we're starting to see a movement toward teamwork and combination and story progression, this could possibly work. But again, back to my point, I have no clue how this could happen. Now, the only two male characters that I think that would fuse together would be Madara and Hashirama, but that's another story. So, well, moving on. All right, moving on. Anyway, appreciate your comments. I love your name once again. Okay. And Mr. Marcus, you're agreeing. Okay, he says Mr. Marcus is Bito Uchiha. I agree 100%. Female reviewer agrees with me as well, and hopefully Kishimoto will explain this one day. And I don't really, it wasn't linked to I don't know which comment you're agreeing with. But anyway, so yeah. Hannah Mantis. I see great teamwork in Naruto and Sasuke and the second and the fourth. That is a heck of a combo, isn't it? That's just awesome. These guys working together like that. And then the whole time-space thing, the ability to just... I love the time-space stuff. I don't like time travel. Okay? I hate it. I hate it. It's almost it's like 99% of the time. Let me this way. If time travel is the center of what's going on, usually, it's horrible. If it's just a vehicle to get something somewhere and then people back so they can actually do a story, it works great. I've seen some time travel stuff like that. But anyway, you get the idea. But the time-space stuff, just zipping around, I love it. I still believe Shikamaru may be useful in the battlefield, since Tamara thinks he can be Hokage. If he thinks he can if he thinks he can, he may have to show it. I think it's what you're saying. From Sakura, but ouch, she officially got demoted. Like I said in the video, Tamari and Shikamaru marrying would be awesome. Him being Hokage would be awesome. He should be Hokage, and there's some people that have mentioned in some comments in here. It isn't always the most powerful, although unfortunately, it seems that is kind of the way it's gone. But it doesn't have to be, and so yeah, so it's kind of, I mean, seeing it right now, you're like, well, it has to be the most powerful. So yeah, but he would be the best. I've already mentioned in other videos why I think that, in their marriage and fusing the two families together and all that stuff would be pretty cool. Fire and sand. Okay, Ricardo EMG. Shikamaru is awesome, but he forgot about two guys with the potential in the alliance to achieve those levels of power. I'm really looking forward to C.A. Gates, Rock Lee, and yeah, and his sensei. Guy for the win. Alright, Panamantis. Oh, Steve, think about this. Madara created Zetsu from the first DNA, right? Yep. In this debut, I think about it. Well, anyway. Kabuto implanted some DNA in Madara, right? You think it's possible his trump card and the first do... Okay, this is a little rough for me to read here. You think it's possible his trump card, he trump carded him, and the first do like a perfect form Zetsu with Madara and the first body. Since Madara said, I'm going to keep you around a little longer, just a wild guess, LOL. Whatever it is, I don't think Madara was planning on the first or an Edo first or whatever to be there to use. So I don't think it has anything to do with the first. But now, is it possible they would now team up and do something together, and they would be able to do something? That would be awesome. And to be perfectly honest, that may, whatever, I think his Madar's trump card isn't going to work. But that may actually be what has to happen, maybe just to get some level of control over him. Because we have to admit, the combination between Hashirama, right, and Madara together like this would be pretty crazy if they worked together. That would be pretty insane. I like that. I'm kind of shocked. I like where you're going with this, and I'm kind of shocked that more people haven't kind of gone with that. It makes so much sense when you start to think about it. But anyway, and let's see, KX Mixer X. So that was Pen Mantis. Really do appreciate that. Okay, KX Mixer X. Okay, I know this hasn't actually been brought up in a while, but I want to lay it to rest now before it's mentioned again. I'm referring to people's complaining about Obito not using the Rinnegan. Okay, now this is something that people have complained about, so here we go. If you go back to the chapter 567, Kakashi mentions and questions why the revived Jinchuriki are not using their Rinnegan abilities. Guy then proceeds to spell it out quite clearly by saying that the reason Obito isn't making them use those abilities is because he knows countermeasures have been developed. I'm glad you picked up on that. I totally forgot about that. Nice, and that was, for anybody who wanted to look, that was chapter 567, so I really appreciate you providing the chapter 2 so people can go check it out for themselves. Alright, good job, Cakes Mixer X. Oh, this is interesting. Macon 13. Am I the only one who saw Sakura's hand side at the end? I went back and looked at it, and I'm glad you brought up Sakura, because the way it's positioned, she's on her slug, okay, or part of it, and she can't see what's going on, but she can actually get to where she needs to go. Okay. Well, anyway, because of, I'm getting stumped here by a name. Anyway, the person that joined Team 7 that nobody likes, and for whatever reason the name has escaped me, but anyway, he can of course draw or create a big bird that they can fly her to where she needs to go, and I don't know why I'm spacing out, but I do that sometimes. So anyway, he can do that, and I'm sure everyone is already thinking of the name. You don't need to put it down for me. I'm sure some people will, but anyway, I'm spacing out on that name. Okay, so anyway, she can get there. She can get there. Wow, it was a simple little thing I wanted to say. All right, KX Mixer X. For each ability, and it's a waste. Am I reading this in the wrong order? Probably. For each ability, and it's a waste of chakra to try and make use of them. Now, if that's true for a group of Rinnegan users, it's especially true later down the line. I think you're just continuing on from your last thing. When Obito begins to fight solo. And that's why he doesn't use his Rinnegan. I believe the only reason he implanted it in himself in the first place was so he could share the unified field of vision, right, with the Edo Tensei Jinchuriki, which worked good. Great review, by the way. Can't wait for the video comic video. And please start reviewing Shippuden. Well, I don't enjoy it, so I'm not going to do it. And that's just being honest. So, okay. Because I did do it for a while, and I didn't enjoy it. Okay, and also KX Mixer X, another comment. The anime is really worth watching again. You don't have to do VCs for them, but I think people more or less just want to hear your thoughts on it. I understand it if you don't want to do it, though. I won't push the matter. Yeah, I won't do it. Don't enjoy it. And it's weird. I have to say, it's weird talking about something that you've really already covered so much in the manga. Okay, because, I mean, look at me. I've done my review. I've done my viewer comments. And then the anime, and I'm like, well, why am I... You know, it's just weird. I mean, Fairy Tail is the only one that isn't weird because a lot of the impact, it's really written for video. Okay, so a lot of the impact of the jokes and the action and everything really don't translate all that well in the manga. But in the anime, they're just absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, it's a whole different thing. And the character I couldn't think of was Sai. So, Tough name to remember, right? But anyway, there you go. Okay, let's see, I've already moved past that. I've already answered that question. And I believe this is a response to that, but we'll see. Okay, is no good. Why can't we just understand what is Sakura for this manga? Sakura is great medical ninja, and she is the strongest female character in the manga right now. Stronger than Tsunade? I would not. Well, now that Tsunade's alive, okay, maybe, you know. But I still think Tsunade. Remember the rule that the medical ninjas have? They must die last in the fight, right? I agree she is useless. But just like the other female characters as well. Like Hinata, who is watching, or Tamari, who is watching as well. They can't move a finger because this is a battle of gods. Sakura is also part of Naruto's love story, just like Hinata is. You know, I'm not a... I want to get into this. I'm not a feminist or a this and that. I just like to see characters for my own interest. I don't like to see any characters just there and then, oh, well, you got to go. Sorry, it's getting a little too interesting, and you have to. I just for that reason, I want to see characters completely expand and do what they show their abilities and do everything. But I have to say, this it does get old. It's like, oh well, females got to go, and it's weird. It's just weird, like I say. So anyway, and I believe you're responding to this, and Kayusuki. I'm thinking Madara's trump card is to use Ito Tensei to revive someone else. He might have someone that we might have never seen before, or he might be planning to fuse with Hashirama in a way also that attack. Okay, there we go. Also, that attack in Sakura Naruto did as much as it is badass at all. I'm a little trouble reading this. I think they are just wasting their time and chakra with it. Obito is not even concerned. He is like just standing there, taking everything they are throwing at him. Tobirama and Minato props to both. Well, something I wanted to say in this, which is an observation which isn't going to shock anyone, is one thing that Obito, Toby, Jubito, one thing he knows how to do is not get hurt. Okay. Or let's say, well, he's been hurt. I can't go there. But he 99% of the time, not 100%, he really does avoid getting hit, doesn't he? He just deflecting, and then his old Kamoi, and then all these other abilities is all just survival stuff. So actually laying a finger on this guy is pretty freaking difficult. And that's, like I said, that's an ability this guy has been using since forever. So the idea that they're just we're just gonna go up and hit him with something big, yeah, it's gonna have to be something else. Okay, and appreciate your comments, by the way. And looks like is no good again. I don't understand why so much hate on her, but I think it's because of the Minato question about Naruto's girlfriend. And DT Ninja responds to that. It's very simple. She may be strong. She may be a medical ninja, just as Tsunade was, or even Rin. But the big difference between them is she never learns from her mistakes. She still cares for Sasuke, even after she was almost killed twice. Such stupidity doesn't deserve my respect. There is a level of hate for characters that Kishimoto doesn't give time to. Tintin. The character Tintin gets so much hate. I mean, she's not even hated now at the moment, but you mention her stuff and she gets massive hate because there's no character there. She's there, here she's got some, and then nothing is ever done with her. Characters that get abandoned also get abused from the fans. Why, you say? I don't know, but that's a fact. Whenever Kishimoto sidelines a character, the abuse from the fans comes on the character. I guess my own opinion, if I had to make a guess, is our frustration with Kishimoto not using them goes at the character because we just don't throw it at the person that's creating all this stuff. I think maybe that's like a transference. We're angry at him, but we take it out on the character. I don't know. There's a little psychology there. Or maybe bad psychology. It probably is. But anyway, appreciate the comments. Okay, and King Offici Hyuga. I think Madara's trump card is to Idu the Uzumaki clan and have them use their Chuck changes on Obito. I don't know what Chuck changes. I don't know. Anyway, I appreciate the comment. And let's see. Where's Waldo Prod? There's going to be a ton of retaliation and back and forth combat. I think so for a while. I see it's easily lasting longer than the pain fight, but not as long as the destined fight between Naruto and Sasuke. That's going to get crazy. Fans are going to go through the I don't even know the fandom level on that. I can't even. I mean, it'll be way above 8,000, whatever. Okay, 8 gazillion. On the Alliance side, I see that the 5 Kages and the Hachibi jumping in, of course, to counter some attack of Obito's side. I see more OP Jutsus and even the execution of Project Siku no Mi. There is an ultimate rebuttal. Kakashi either coming back to talk no Jutsu, or the original sage of the Sixth Path speaks to Obito. I think Naruto, like I said, I just like the idea of him being able to because of, to be able to talk directly to Obito, which is what Obito wanted, but doing it basically through the Tailed Beast network, so to speak. Alright, appreciate the comments. DT Ninja 831. I can understand your frustration with showing the minor characters, but I think showing them in panel or two is good for fans as well as the situation as a whole. Yeah, I think it's good that he's showing them. I have no problems with. I like that. I love that he's showing them. I've already, I guess just like what you said, I am frustrated. But anyway, continuing on. I think Shikamaru is a great character, and he would serve as a great Hokage. People seem to forget the Hokage is not. I love the point you're making here. Is not just about strength, it's more about leading and protecting. If war could be prevented in the first place, you have done your job. Now, I think it's a great idea, but then again, I've thought Shikamaru for Hokage was a great idea to begin with, so we're thinking alike on this. So we could both be wrong, but we're definitely thinking alike on this. So DT Ninja 831. Awesome. And let's see. Okay. XX Avenger Legend. I think Obito will seal the Kages. Besides, sealing them up. Interesting. The first because the fourth and second are doing the most damage to him. I also don't care about Kishimoto showing minor characters. They are distracting from the main battle. Also, I don't care about. Okay, they're distracting. I wish Kishimoto would stop doing that. It's a waste of a page. Okay, DT Ninja 831. I think the reason that Sasuke's Iton Kitsuchi is able to mix with Naruto's Futon, Rasengan, Shuriken, is because he's able to mix his chakra with several different chakra natures. You remember that he has done that a lot, yes. When Naruto shared the Fox's power with everyone, and now he's able to mix Kuruma's chakra and each shinobi chakra nature. I think this is the clue as to how far ahead Naruto is from Sasuke in terms of chakra manipulations as well as balance and power. Yeah, I've been saying that for a while. I don't see Sasuke being anywhere near. Sasuke is powerful, but he's always. If you notice, Naruto's always been able to catch up to him. But right now, he's nowhere near. He's nowhere near. Of course, now Kishimoto could have him yank out some jutsus that we've never seen him use before, and it's possible something can happen, or some counters or what have you. We'll see, but as of now, I don't think so. DT Ninja also continues on here. Well, I feel that remark that Tamari made could be a more serious tone that maybe Shikamaru is going to do something important soon. He may die. I don't think so. I want to state right now, I don't see him dying. Period. I don't see it. Not only that, but the idea of Hokage being more than just strength and more of a leader. Maybe he can keep the peace and prevent fighting and a step forward. Remember, the only reason that we feel this way is because the ninja world has been constant war for all these years. Yeah, you made really good points on this. Excellent points, D10J31. And, okay, and let's see. NW Order for Life. Tamari doesn't realize that you can't be, this is the big pushback right here, you can't be Hokage if you don't have the power. Shikamaru is best used as a strategist, just like his father was. It would have been nice if Kishi had Tamari say how Naruto was, the quality too, but I guess he wanted to give Shikatamari fans a bone. Gotta mention Sakura's MS Jutsu. Can't believe Kage Tsuchi can fit itself to another person like Chakra. It makes him extremely adaptable to any defense. Imagine he matches it to something like Gaara's Sand Shield. It's pretty awesome. Going back to the whole thing here, to be honest, I think his father, I mean, I like Tsunade as a character, but just in reality, his father would have made, Shikamaru's father would have made a million, billion, gazillion times better Hokage than Tsunade. Okay, let's just, so, to me, that example proves the point on why Shikamaru would be a great Hokage, but there we go. But you do bring up the point is all these examples that we see are the most powerful people getting elected Hokage. So there you go. All right. So there's the shoulda, and then there's the probably who's gonna be, right? And that just seems to be the way it is. All right. Excellent comments, by the way. Okay. Hold on. Sibian Dre 2008. You know what I don't get? How did Minato instantly learn to use the QB Chakra mode whilst Naruto took like weeks under B supervision? I mean, he obviously didn't. This is something that's come up way earlier. I mean, he obviously didn't have time to go to the Falls of Truth or whatever because he died right after Sling. Well, I mean, look, how much time has he been, him and that part of the QB been sealed up together? They've been sealed up together. So, it's my understanding, all together, so they've been hanging out for a long time. That's the way I see it. So, that doesn't really, that doesn't really shock me. And then DT Ninja 21 says, I think the reason is because Naruto mastered Kuruma's power. Think about it. Even though he only has half of its true power, it is one beast. So when Naruto was able to learn the power, Minato gained the ability to control his foxes on his will. Just a thought. Okay. And let's see. D2 Ninja 81 again here. Interesting chapter. Toby Rama cracked me up. LOL. I respect my authority. Enjoyed the strategic or probably tactical play in this chapter with Sasuke and Naruto as well as Toby Rama and Minato. I like the fact that Kishimoto included Shikamaru here and Sakura was not a main character. Nice review and keep up the good work. Appreciate the comments as always. And then G. Gorsey, I love the chapter. It's difficult to say what Madara is planning, and Naruto has more chakra than Sasuke from the start. But maybe Naruto has to be tired of fighting full-time in the war, and we see that Obito uses small Bijou Dama, but Naruto could do too. The second Hokage shows how badass he is. I'm going to speak something to the chakra levels. The Nine Tails, remember when way long ago when Sasuke went into his mind, he went where and he saw that with Naruto and the Nine Tails, and he actually dissipated. And he says, I haven't seen chakra like this since Madara. So he's got chakra levels, but him plus the Q using it plus whatever the other stuff But anyway, they both have huge chakra reserves, but anyway, like I said, there's a lot of other stuff within the nature stuff, and I don't know, I don't know. But like I say, so that is a point. Let's just stay on that point that Sasuke does have a massive amount of chakra. Okay, and then the last comment will be another one from G. Gorsey. Jiraiya is being revived by Orochimaru. That would make sense, and fans want to see it. That's why Suigetsu went with Orochimaru. Karen helped Tsunade, and now Suigetsu will be used to go into the ocean to get Jiraiya's body. That's brilliant. That is brilliant. I mean, it's brilliant that, you know, a water user like that would go in and get his body. How they know where it is, I don't know. That would be kind of weird. That's why Gengachi said his father was busy. Ah, okay. And Orochimaru does not just sit by and watch them lose. He's always up to something. That's why Suigetsu and the guy did not join the battle. They have a purpose to be with Orochimaru. Just think about it. But I can be wrong. I like your ideas. I love it. I just simply think that Orochimaru, being the crazy, mad, insane scientist he is, would have Jiraiya DNA somewhere, and he probably has got everybody's DNA. I mean, this guy was just insane. But anyway, that's going to go ahead and do it this week for viewer comments, which is awesome. I appreciate everyone's efforts. It's a lot of fun and a lot of angles. Like I say, even if you don't agree with what someone else has to say, I love to see the thinking and, like I say, the other angles. And then the truth is Kishimoto does whatever the hell he wants. Right? It's always fun to think of this stuff, but you know, he's the mangaka. He's the one who's going to decide all this. Anyway, awesome job, everybody. Once again, it's a lot of fun. Didn't go an hour this week, but that's okay too. But I'm going to go ahead and, like I say, get this. This definitely should be. It's going to take a little while to upload. But anyway, anybody can be an anime fan. You can always subscribe. You can always unsubscribe. You can do anything you want to. Until next time, take care.